It is my belief that the single biggest reason why social workers are not making the money that they deserve is because they have not completed clinical supervision. Receiving clinical supervision can set you on the path to increase your monthly income by thousands of dollars while having the ability to make your own schedule. In the next few minutes, I will explain what clinical supervision is and why not having it is costing you money. Once you have received your master's, supervision is required by the state if you have plans to independently practice social work. In essence, social work paves the way for you to be able to work on your own terms, where you can independently bill for the services you provide. You can have the freedom to schedule these services when it's most convenient for you. And most importantly, you get to cut the middleman out. So who is qualified to receive supervision and how is it performed? To receive supervision, you will have to have a master's degree in social work. In many states, you do not even have to be licensed. You can start right away, while others may require you to have a graduate license before you begin. Once you have been approved by your board, you will receive supervision for clinical supervision for at least 2 to 3 years, just depending on the state that you're in. You generally have the choice to receive supervision either one-on-one, in a group, or with a combination of both. And if you are busy and on the go, or you have trouble finding a supervisor in your area, many states such as Alabama have approved supervision over the web with the use of tools such as Skype or Google Hangouts. The biggest question that everybody is wanting to know is, how can supervision lead to better financial opportunities for me and increase my bottom line? Well, I'm glad you asked. After you have taken your clinical exam, received your clinical license, and the necessary certifications that are required in your state to practice independently, you are now ready to explore options for private practice. So let's look at a few career options that fall under private practice that are sure to increase your bottom line. Since much of my private practice is centered around social work supervision, I will start with clinical supervision. For those of you who enjoy teaching, training, empowering social work professionals, supervision may be the niche for you. Providing clinical supervision to others is an awesome option for private practice that allows you to contribute to the well-being of the client as well as your bottom line. You can perform supervision individually or in a group, and in many states it's performed telephonically. Could you just imagine facilitating a group over the internet from the comfort of your own home? Sounds great, doesn't it? Each supervisor's rates may vary, but just to give you an example of what a supervisor may charge, we'll use my situation as an example. Many years ago, when I first received supervision, my supervisor charged the facility I worked for a whopping $83 an hour, plus 58 cents a mile while traveling 216 miles to get to the work site, plus a 1.5% late fee if the payment was late. And there were a lot of late payments. Nice, huh? So clinical supervision is one form of private practice that can be sure to increase your bottom line and give you financial rewards in your social work career. Another private practice option that is sure to increase your bottom line is a counseling and therapy services option. Now, many of you aspired to be full-time therapists when you were in school, while some of you didn't really actually plan to perform counseling and therapy services full-time, but plan to provide maybe a little bit more services than what you're currently providing now. For those of you all who fall into this category, a private practice centered around counseling and therapy services may be the option for you. How many times have you thought about how little your job is paying you, which led you to feel somewhat undervalued and sometimes unappreciated? Well, beginning a private practice in counseling and therapy services is a way to start taking matters into your own hands to improve your situation and make things just a little bit better for you. Once you are appropriately credentialed, it does not take much time for you to start seeing clients. If you can't afford an office, there are other low-cost options that can be considered, such as a virtual office. But we'll talk about that in another video. A counseling and therapy services clinician can provide services individually from his own personal facility or as a contractor. There are a number of different ways that you can perform counseling and therapy services. All of them do not require for you to perform therapy services directly from your office. For instance, many of you may not be aware, but counseling and therapy services are provided through hospice and home health as well. As a matter of fact, one of my previous employers hired a contract social worker to provide social services because they weren't ready to hire a full-time social worker at the time. This happens in many facilities. To give you an example or an idea of how clinicians are paid, I performed a Google search. You can do this as well at home. The Psychology Today website will generally list the fees of each clinician in this section. When I looked on the Psychology Today website for the area that I live in, there were just as many private practice social workers as there were in any other clinical profession. They average about $80 to $90 a session, which kind of averages a little bit lower on the scales for the national averages. But this is nevertheless 3 to 4 times more than what the average social worker makes per hour. What I really love about private practice counseling is that it's something that you can do PRN on an as-needed basis. This is an advantage that social workers have more than any other field. As a social worker, you can work full-time in a position that almost seems completely unrelated to counseling. But then, if you feel the need to better feed your family, you can perform counseling services on the side. There are a number of other options available for the private practice clinicians, such as contract social workers that work with mental health agencies. They often need someone to assist them with their day-to-day tasks when they're not ready to hire someone full-time, or even sometimes when there's full-time positions available. You can also contract with many foster care agencies as far as working as maybe like a GPS trainer. That's someone who trains the foster parents or adoptions parents to prepare them for the adoptions process. You can also contract providing home studies for various agencies that offer these services. There are so many different things that you can do in this area of social work that many of us are missing out on. I can go on and on sharing with you some of the opportunities that are out there for private practice clinicians. Each of these positions you can average about in between maybe $70 to $100 per hour based on your demographic. So are you excited? Well, I am. The social work field is soaring, especially in the advances in healthcare. Find you a supervisor today. Make a better life for you and your family and start your supervision now. For those of you all who are in the Alabama area looking for supervision, you can reach me at contactus@socialworkusa.com, or you can give me a call at 256-424-1246. Don't forget to check us out on the World Wide Web at socialworkusa.com. I'm Choya Wise for Social Work USA. Be blessed and have a great day.